Do I look cool with my new cup?
Your new cup? Oh yeah. You have a new cup and a new sweater. What an influencer.
Yes, we are back in Minnesota.
Back in Minnesota.
We're back, but you know what? We have something even bigger to talk about. Let's not even go there. So YouTube has this new thing for creators, like on our side, where it, I guess it's like an AI thing, and it takes what videos have done well on our channel and tells us ideas for videos. It's like, your audience would really love this.
It's the inspiration tab, they call it.
Inspiration.
And yeah, it looks at what you've already published and did well, and what all of you have enjoyed, both from our channel and other channels. And then it puts that all together and gives you ideas for new videos.
Yeah.
So we were like, let's try it.
Yeah.
So we fired it up. We're so excited. We're going to make a fun new video that you're all going to love. The #1 ranked video idea based on your viewing habits.
You guys.
Is.
This is what you want. Shane's biggest fears and how we cope.
Oh.
And let me read the description. Shane's vulnerabilities are explored in this heartfelt video. The couple shares how they navigate his fears and build a supportive and loving environment.
So today, our fun, inspirational idea is exploring my vulnerabilities.
There's other ones that we'll get to, where there's interabled couples travel hacks and tips. Like, that was medium interest though, and the biggest fears has very high interest.
You guys really want to know about my fears?
So let's see if this works. Let's see if people are interested.
Let's dig deep and see if I can cry by the end of this video.
Oh my god, that would really make it a very, very high interest.
Okay, fear #1.
We're getting right into it.
My feet.
That's kind of, are we easing into the fears? Like this is surface level fear?
Let me be specific. I'm not afraid of my feet. It's not like I look down and ah!
No, you're afraid for your feet.
I'm afraid for my feet. I have hypersensitivity in my feet. My feet have been injured a number of times in my life, and now I'm just hyper aware of them being knocked on things or bent the wrong way. Mm-hmm. I can't do much to move my feet out of harm's way.
Yeah.
So it's a thing for me.
Yeah.
And it most often presents itself whenever Hannah picks me up out of my chair to move me to bed.
Or if I'm getting in bed and you're already in there and I'm coming in from a weird way.
So Hannah, how do we cope with this fear of my feet being mangled?
You yelling, watch my feet. That's literally it. Watch my feet, watch my feet, watch my feet.
It's an unbreakable habit.
Watch my feet. I'm like, I don't think I've ever hit your feet on anything,
No.
you know? So 9 years in, you might think you don't need to say it, but it comes out every single time.
Yeah, back when my parents were my primary caregivers, they had been doing it for 25 years. And up to the last day, I was saying to my dad every time he lifted me, watch my feet, watch my feet. Watch my feet.
Because people, it's true, people do watch your head. When I'm holding Shane, I am more attuned to his head. I'm not gonna bang his head on a doorway. I might think, in Shane's mind at least, that it's okay to bang his feet on a doorway, you know?
And me saying, watch my feet, watch my feet, watch my feet, has been said so often that Hannah just tunes it out now.
That's the problem.
So it does nothing.
It's the boy who cried wolf.
But it does make me feel better, and that's how I cope with my fear of my feet.
That's how you cope. All right, what's your next fear?
This one is a bit more serious, and it is being overlooked or discounted because of my disability. When we go out in public, strangers often assume that I am incapable of anything. And so they address all of their questions and comments to Hannah. They assume that I can't order for myself or have a adult conversation.
Can I give an example of this?
Mm-hmm.
Well, two actually. The first one, we were at a restaurant on a road trip and I left to go to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom in the restaurant and we had finished eating. So we were getting back on the road and the server came to take the plates away because we were done. And so Shane asked her, can we just get the check when you have a minute? And she said, okay, and then left. And then I came back from the bathroom. And when I sat down, she came over and we were sitting next to each other like this. She came over on this side of me and whispered in my ear.
Whispered, guys.
So that he couldn't hear. He asked for the check, is that okay with you? And I was like,
as if I had John Rhodes, I was gonna cause some mayhem.
I was just like, yeah.
So stuff like that is really frustrating. Oh wait, did you have another example?
Oh, the other one was the waitress that laughed at you when you asked for a beer and like
yeah.
kept laughing.
And then she said to Hannah, "Is he allowed to have this?"
Yeah, and I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" And then she literally like laughed all the way away, like walked away giggling to herself.
But Tom, I got her because when she brought my beer, she spilled it on the table, which was a little bit funny.
Yeah, and we were like,
So yeah, stuff like this is annoying, but it's pretty easy to laugh it off. There's a bigger, like, systemic fear underneath all of this, which is, if you look through our YouTube comments, it's right there. It's just the general idea that I don't have worth or value, that I don't contribute to the world or our life in any meaningful way. It is deeply ableist that people feel this way about me, but it is a real thing, and I have a fear of it because I think I have value. I think I have worth.
So how do you cope with it?
How do I cope with it?
I feel like it, especially when you talk about it in terms of like the YouTube comments, I feel like the main thing we do is just usually to each other, like express how they're just wrong.
Yeah, it's
you
just
know?
wrong.
Like,
You're not right.
We know it's not true, and that makes us feel better.
Yeah. I guess it's also in public to, like, being deliberate about when people do address Hannah. Hannah always says, "Oh no, you can talk to him."
Yeah.
Like, we're very forceful about, nope, speak to him.
Yeah.
Next fear, this one's a doozy. Being a burden to Hannah. I've lived with a burden complex my whole life. I have a fear that my physical needs, the caregiving assistance that I need, will burden the people around me and make them not want to be near me.
And once again, that fear is not made better by the YouTube comments that we receive.
Yeah.
You know, and we've also heard from a lot of other disabled people that they have similar fears. I feel like when we do speaking engagements, especially with audiences of like more disabled people, that's often something that comes up in the Q&A is like people wanting to talk more about that.
We cope with this one by Hannah continually reassuring me that I am not a burden. She said that probably twice a week since she's known me.
For 9 years. Yeah, communication.
Yeah.
Expressing it and
just like organizing our life in a way where I don't actually begin to burden Hannah. Like, rearrange the caregiving in a way that is
works for both
seamless
of us.
in our life.
Yeah.
And I'm always checking in with Hannah, like, "Hey, you feeling good?" You're not burdened, right? And then she reassures me. It's a cycle that will never end. My next fear is very serious, but not much I can do about it. I have a fear of surgery. I've been told that my lungs are weak enough that surgery would be very, very difficult for me. It may end up requiring that I, like, get a tracheotomy or whatever. So I'm afraid of it, and I cope with it by not having surgery. If I ever need surgery, I don't know what we'll do. So that's a fear.
Yeah.
Moving on.
But we know,
I'm coping.
I feel like I cope by, like, we know people with SMA that have had surgery.
That's
and every time I see a post about that, I'm like, Shane, look who's fine.
Another surgery that went well. Want some surgery, Shane?
All right, what's your next fear?
My next fear is a fear that someday, when Hannah can no longer do my physical caregiving,
Which will never happen.
look at those guns. If the day ever comes when Hannah can no longer do my caregiving, we are going to have to hire caregivers. And that is very expensive. And because of the very unfair laws about disability benefits, I don't qualify for any of them because you can't have more than $2,000 in your bank account at any given time. I deserve the freedom to earn money, and so we have earned money. But if the day comes when we have to hire caregivers, we're going to need a lot of money.
Yeah.
So how do we cope with that?
Oh, how do we cope with that, Shane?
By working hard.
I should probably exercise a little more. Keep this body tip-top shape. Trying to, save money in case of that.
I feel like, we've always been very mindful of, like, we are going to try as hard as we can to be successful so that we can build up a nest egg so that whatever happens in the future, we feel comfortable facing it.
Yeah, you've certainly always been like that way.
I'd love to, make spreadsheets about saving.
Possible costs in the future.
Yeah. So buy our book.
Oh, yeah. If you want to buy our book.
This is a shameless plug. If you want me to have caregivers for my whole life.
You're going to need to buy that book.
Okay, next fear, maybe the biggest one of all, Hannah dying.
Oh, my biggest fear is you dying.
These are morbid. Like, this is morbid.
I thought your biggest fear was you dying.
No, I would much rather I die than you die.
Really? Because same. But I always thought, like, my biggest fear was you dying, and your biggest fear was also you dying.
Followed closely by you dying. No, I mean, I can't imagine life without Hannah.
Yeah.
And the way that we cope with that is by keeping her in a hard, protective shell for, like, most hours of the day.
My case?
We take her out of the case for videos, like right now, she's out.
I love to come out of the case.
She gets a few meals, and then back in the case where she cannot be harmed.
I think that's a good plan.
No, no one's dying. No one will ever die.
No, never.
That's how we cope. Nope.
Nope.
Moving on.
Me at night lying in bed going, don't ever die. That's how we cope. That's nice of me.
No, but, like, actually, you mentioned, like, me dying. I think my real, like, probably tied with you dying is a lifelong fear that I've had about the unknowns about how my disease will affect me in the future. You know, my lungs are weak, and that makes illnesses trickier for me. And as I get older, I imagine that will, become more of a thing. As everyone ages, illness is more of a thing.
Yeah.
And it's just really scary not knowing what my physicality will be like down the road. How do we cope with that? Please tell me.
Please fix it right now. I don't know.
But I mean, Hannah is very much like, let's prioritize health and well-being so that you have less worries about down the road. I'm not good at that.
No. That doesn't help my fear.
Putting it lightly.
Yeah. You think that, like, taking any precautions is, like...
a slippery slope.
Yeah, like, somehow making the future worse?
No, it's just acknowledging that, like...
Acknowledging it. Yeah, you're like, no, if I do this, then I'm acknowledging that, like, something might happen in the future. So you prefer to not do anything that might help.
Yeah, which is super counterproductive. I'm also very anxious. That is a coping mechanism, kind of like an accidental coping mechanism. I have anxiety. I've been in therapy at times about it, which is very helpful. And then generally just, like, focusing on the here and now.
Yeah.
And trying really hard to not let myself fall into those thought processes of, like, what happens in 20 years.
Yeah.
But, like, we're good today.
Yeah.
We're good this week. Let's enjoy it. And take our vitamins.
Yeah.
I mean,
You want to get a multivitamin? Because you don't take that.
Yeah.
Don't lie.
No. Yeah.
Don't lie in the video.
You'll take the vitamins. Yeah.
No, you do actually. You take like that protein shake has all your vitamins.
Oh, yeah,
So that's true. You do take vitamins.
And all of my amino acids.
Okay. Well, those are all of your biggest fears. Was this a really fun video? I'm so glad it was our inspiration.
It better been fun for all of you.
I hope
since
you all
this is what you
loved
wanted.
it. Yeah. This is your most wanted video, you guys, if you didn't know. This is it.
Next video, Shane's biggest fears about death.
Yeah, part 2.
All right, everyone. No, next video will be Hannah's fears.
No, that actually wasn't on the list.
Oh, I think it was.
So we won't be doing that.
All right. Have a good day.
Bye.